Hello, I'm Alicia Davis,
And I'm Stacy Watson.
and we are the co-owners of Transformative Leadership Strategies, a coaching, training, and team building company. And we are all in the midst of doing lots of returning, aren't we, Stace?
We really are in every facet of life. It feels like it's a little stop and start feeling, I think, in
For
lots of
sure.
ways. Maybe we're going on some vacations that we certainly weren't probably taking last year.
Yes.
Maybe we're back in the office more than we were last year. Maybe we're thinking about going back to school. Our kids are going back to school in the fall. So,
That's right.
it's like it feels a little bit like we're kind of perched on the edge and dipping our toe in and kind of figuring out how to move forward. And I think in organizations, this is very much what we're hearing.
Oh, across the board, from leaders trying to figure out what's the best way to bring people back, and from, staff who have been remote perhaps, or maybe have been hybrid even a little bit, like what does it mean? And how do we make like this intentional transition back? Because there's still, even though there's more and more safety and perhaps more comfort, there's also still a lot of anxiety and
Yes.
uncertainty that everybody's still navigating, right? And so it's a real thing to have to try to figure out how to make it work for the organization and the team, as well as making it work for each individual person, because it's everybody's different, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so much of the work I feel like we at TLS have done over the last 14, 15 months has been in direct response to what we're hearing from our client organizations. And this
Absolutely.
topic of returning, kind of quote unquote returning,
Yep.
is top of mind. And so we actually have just created a brand new webinar that really is designed to just have conversation about it, all the complexity of it. And so I think we thought today we could just maybe offer a thought that seemed to be very much what we were seeing as we did our research and, as we are talking to organizations about the ways that they are dipping their toes in those waters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
the overriding theme for both, leaders, supervisors, as well as staff is to make the implicit explicit, right? Do you want to talk a little
Yes.
bit about what we think that really means?
Yeah, we actually were super inspired by an interview that we listened to with on Brene Brown, and she was interviewing Priya Parker, and Priya was talking about just how at this time, especially at this time, like to be so as much as possible to be transparent, right? To
Yes.
be able to just not try to not have any assumptions about anything, like to be able to say, okay, yes, we're returning to work. And what does that mean? Like, what are the implications of that for the folks that have been working from home? Like, what if their kids aren't going back to school, right? And so they have perhaps angst about that while they know that they still need to come back. They also now need to figure out how to have their children cared for, right? And so not to just make assumptions that everybody can just come back in the same way, or if you are, the staff person, to be able to just really respectfully and honestly say, this is what's happening for me, and I want to figure it out, and I'm not quite sure how. Can we try to do it together, right?
Yes,
Being super
absolutely.
intentional, I think, is really what it's all
That's
about.
that's right. And I think one of the things that we also have heard from that podcast, as well as just reading and listening to other people on this topic, is the idea that if the more we're able to really tap into our own feelings and experiences and stay
Hmm.
out of the opinions, that can be helpful because opinions, we all have them, right? We
Yep,
think this is right or this is wrong or what have you, and that's fine. It's just as you're trying to navigate these really big decisions that do have implication for yourself as well as others, the more we can really stay with what we are experiencing and the feelings that we're having,
that's
the
right.
more we have something tangible to talk about, to the point you're making.
That's right.
So, one of the other things we do is talk about having hard conversations. And for some folks, this probably will be a little bit of a hard conversation or a series of harder conversations. And we certainly understand and appreciate how challenging that can be as well. So,
That's right.
you know, space and grace, right? You said
I
this
was
back
just gonna say that.
14
I
months
was just
ago.
gonna say that. Yes. I mean,
Yes.
that's really what this is about, continues, right? Like, how can we just be a little kinder, have a little bit more space and flexibility and just for ourselves and each other. And so if this is a topic, if this is something that you think would be helpful for you, for your teams, this journey around returning, we would certainly love to talk with you about that. You can
Yeah, for
email
sure.
us info@tlstransforms.com and certainly send us questions and your experiences. We love to hear it all.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.